All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's Wednesday's episode of Top Tier Podcast, episode 11.
Hey,
Pale Ale Poppy, it's your boy. He's back with a chosen one. We're back to give you this week's content. We got some fire topics this week for our Game of Thrones fans. We really got to cover episode 3. There was some dope fight scenes in that episode.
yeah.
We got to cover Rings of Power and Elon Musk's comments on Rings of Power. We have a lot of topics today.
A lot of good shit today, and we're going to get to it. Do I need to start us off with some energy, or are we just going to fly in?
Let's start off with some tunes, man.
Let's start off with some tunes then. Hey! Can I even do air horns over a classic like this? I'm going to do it.
Sipping on some. What you sipping on?
Same old shit. You know, I always have my try it. Put some lemon in that shit, some lemon juice in that shit. Woo. What about you? You sipping on anything?
Yeah. Not today, but I could, man. I got shit in the. What's in my car? So maybe not today.
Yes, sir. All right. I don't want to cut it before the hook, but we got to get to it. All right, so we're starting with House of the Dragon. I'm going to start calling it Game of Thrones at this point because
Game of Thrones prequel.
I'm going to just call it Game of Thrones. This is legitimately, I'm not going to go that far. I can see at a certain point this show being better than the original series.
Yeah, the writing is way better. Maybe not the OG seasons, but it has a faster tempo. Pre-season 3, no. Post-season 3, yeah, way better.
They know what the
and
fuck
it's close
they're doing.
with pre-season 3.
They know what the
Character
fuck
development
they're
is very strong. Character development is very strong. Really like the king. What's his name? Viserys? Is his name Viserys?
Yeah, this was his episode.
I think he's like one of the most developed characters right now. Like,
this
I'm
was
really
his
rooting
episode.
for him.
He shined. And you were speaking to it throughout the entire episode. You were saying that he was dimensional. Explain what you were saying about that, because that was a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like I feel like he's a very three-dimensional character because he's conflicted. He feels like a real person. Like any real person in that kind of political position, you're thinking, I have to act in the interest of the people. But he's more so thinking, am I a good father? He's putting being a good father first,
Which
but that makes his position, which we haven't seen in Game of Thrones, but that makes his position seem weak. To other people, he's sliding other people because he's not making the right the logical political decisions. Everyone, we had a little bit of a time skip this episode, so spoilers for everyone. Where now, he had his firstborn son with Alicent, and Alicent is also pregnant with another child, which might also be his son. Mm-hmm. And everyone's expecting him to make the logical political decision is to have his son be the new heir.
Right.
But he doesn't want to go back on his word to Rhaenyra. Right. Rhaenyra, you can see that she's feeling very bitter. Last episode, she, I forget who she talked to. Was that her aunt said that, like, after a while, you get bitter about how women are treated in our society.
Yeah.
And how they're not going to do you right. And you can see a little. She said she was going to get bitter, but a time skip has happened. You can tell she's very angry this episode because she feels like she's just a political pawn. So, I think all around the characters are, very three-dimensional. And going back to, Viserys, in that he's refusing to remove her position as heir because he cares for his daughter, and he sees that as the right decision as a father. But he's conflicted. You could see it in a great actor. You could see it on his face. He is constantly pondering and wondering, do I do the logical tradition, or do I go outside of tradition to be a good father? So it's very believable and likable. But what do you think about it?
And he spoke to that conflict. Because you like you said, you read it on his face throughout the entire episode, the fact that he had to make these big decisions. Right? It's always about politics. You got to play the game. And he spoke to it when he was speaking with her name is Alicent Hightower. That's her name? Alicent?
Yeah, I think that's her name, Alicent.
When he was speaking to her in front of the fire, he was like drunk as shit. And he was talking about the prophecy that he saw in his dream about him having the heir, the son heir. and had nothing to do with Rhaenyra. He might have mentioned Rhaenyra, but he was talking mainly about the fact that he had a son. He always envisioned him having a son. Hence why we see in the first episode why he was just so sure and dead set. And that we see that's a consistent theme throughout all of Game of Thrones, is that how does the prophecy that a character might know, how does that dictate the course of their actions? And most of the time, it always leads to their downfall. So in this case of Viserys, like number one, he lost his wife because he was trying to self-fulfill the prophecy. Number two, he knows about the prophecy about winter is coming and all that type of stuff. I wonder what types of recourse he's going to try to go about in order to make that prophecy, I guess, not come true. And then number three is like, if the prophecy is for him to not see Rhaenyra in that position of power, I just wonder if that he's going to be able to hold on to that fatherly, daughterly dynamic with Rhaenyra. Or is it going to have something to do with perhaps he has to give up on Rhaenyra? And the show obviously is showing us that it doesn't give a fuck about time jumps. I mean, I think this episode skipped 2 years.
Prequels typically don't. Yeah, they skip 2 years in between 2 and 3.
So
I can see 2 or 3 years, I think, actually.
I can see for some reason, sometime in this season, I should say, we come into an episode and Viserys is just dead. Or Viserys is just dead. He's gone.
I think Daemon's going to kill him. I mean, I think that's on the horizon, where it's probably going to end up being Daemon's going to kill Viserys, take the throne, and Rhaenyra is going to have to, get revenge while also trying to protect her position. He might kill the son. This is Game of Thrones. He might just kill him and kill his son.
That is true. He could kill the son. What I think would be very interesting would be if we wake up one day in 10 episode, Viserys is dead. It's been fucking 10 years. Aegon.
There's going to be a massive time skip, too.
Aegon is the son?
Massive one. Is it Aegon? I'm going to look this up right now.
Or Aerys. I think it's Aegon.
What's her name? Alicent? What is their son? Darren Targaryen, son of Viserys. Yeah.
Darren? That's not the one they were talking about.
No, never mind. No, it is Aegon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What I'm saying is I could see them make a wild time jump. Viserys is long gone. Or not long gone, but Viserys is dead. And we have the dynamic of Rhaenyra as the new queen, but then Aegon is of age to take the realm into his hands. I don't know. I'm just saying, the thing I love about Game of Thrones is that we can throw out all different types of timelines and twists and turns that it could take in order to get to the same exact point, which is just all this this great mayhem and chaos and death, violence, war.
I mean, we seeing it now. We saw it this episode. Dudes getting their legs cut off. Dudes getting stomped by dragons. Of course, I mean, the flames being so powerful, they get Thanos snapped. One guy got burned he got cooked so thoroughly, he literally turned to ash, and it was the only thing that didn't turn to ash was his foot.
The bottom of his leg.
It's dragon fire is magical. That's another thing people don't take into account, that dragon fire is magical. It's not like regular fire. It could be like the surface of the sun. You get touched by that shit, you just dead.
You're gone. He's a goner.
You didn't just get 3rd or 4th degree burns. You die. You gone. You ash.
So you agree with me? You think it's possible this show could end up being better than the original?
Yeah, I think it can. I think it could.
I wonder why people. I haven't seen the numbers on how many people watched this last episode, but the first 2 episodes garnered over 20 million people. 20 million viewers, and this episode good. Probably was around the same numbers that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, 10 million, around there. Why do you think people were eager to come back? Because it left such a sour taste in our mouth after the episode.
See, and I know people who I've recommended it, and they're like, dude, fuck Game of Thrones. No, we're done. I know a lot of people who are like that, but I don't know, man. It just was something to watch. It's like franchise. People like franchise. They're like, what's that movie? Rise of Skywalker movie was garbage. People still love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I guess it was enough for people to ignore it. Enough for people to be like, I'll give the prequel a try. Maybe the prequel won't be bad.
That's so interesting to me because there's a
And
lot
I've
of
seen a lot of prequels. No, you got it.
There's a lot of scenarios where if, like, I'm trying to think of like even kind of with Star Wars, like if Star Wars didn't go the TV show route, I don't know if they just decided like when they came out with Mandalorian, if they were just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be another movie. I would have seen it. So let me stop capping. But I don't know if I would have been eager to go watch it. I was hyped for House of the Dragon. And I think other people were too. I mean, 10 million viewers in the first week.
Really.
I wish I had a comp for that, but 10 million viewers in the first week on premiere day, that's exceptional.
Pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. You said it's 20 million this week? Remember,
no, it was
Rings
20
of Power
million
was
total for the first 2 weeks.
Oh, if it was like on 1 week, I'm like Rings of Power got 27, and you know that show is way more expensive, so I call that a success.
You know, I think they're fudging those numbers. I also think that for
that show, I promise you, it's not performing as well. I don't think they're making their money back.
What do you think is going to be bigger?
I don't know.
Lord of the Rings doesn't have a but 27 million. You said you saw 27?
I thought that's what I saw that. Yeah, I saw 27 million people. It was either 22 or 27 tuned in on the first episode of Rings of Power.
Okay. Well, the first 2 episodes.
There's 2 out? Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was just 1. Okay.
No, it was 2.
I only watched. I guess I only watched the first one. Yeah, it said 27 million. Now, like you said, they could be fudging numbers. You know,
they have to have
could
it succeed.
Adding, both together to make it 27 million.
Since we're here at Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Elon Musk had some things to say about the Rings of Power.
Well, I mean, he said Tolkien, the creator, original OG writer, early 1900 books, will be rolling in his grave at what he is seeing. And he said all the male characters are basically pussies.
They have no back.
And then, he went in the comments and was like, oh, someone posted an article about how, like, if you criticize the show, you're a racist. Because there's a lot of right-wing backlash. It's woke. Oh, there's no blacks in Lord of the Rings. It's impossible. It's only Caucasians. It's not historically accurate. Back in the medieval times, they had elves and wizards and magic, so it's not historically accurate. No, it's not. So he basically did the reverse racism card where he was like, he basically said, you're a racist if you're calling people who criticize the show racist.
I have the quote right here. That's essentially what he said. He said, those who claim any criticism of Rings of Power means you're racist are outing themselves as closet racists. I'll say it again, because it's kind of a convoluted sentence. Card, no, you. Because at first when we were reading this tweet, we thought he was saying, if you're criticizing Lord of the Rings, then you're racist. But he's saying, those who claim, quote, any criticism of Rings of Power means you're racist, end quote, are outing themselves as closet racists. So the racists are the ones that are saying that the criticisms are racist.
Yes. So it's basically you point out, and it's like what right wingers do. You point out their racism. No, you're actually the racist.
Yeah. All lives matter.
All lives matter. Get over it. You're the racist. It's Elon. I just don't take. I can't take him seriously. I just can't take Elon seriously, especially not all the racist allegations at his California factories that he does nothing about. He just tells people, "Oh, get over it. Oh, you have to have a thick skin." I can't take him seriously.
How can he have this observation? How can he have this type of perception of this? That because the clear racism of saying that you shouldn't have black people within the realm of Lord of the Rings, it's obviously racist. How can you say that calling that out as racist is racist in and of itself? I would love to hear his explanation.
Because it's just a deflection. It's just a right-wing deflection. That's
what they do. Why
do.
Feel the need to have anything to say about it in the first place? Stick with your little manosphere tweet where it's like, oh yeah, like, because I felt
It's
like
a dog whistle.
First of all, there was only 2 characters who were women in the fucking 2 episodes that actually had roles that were like actually had like real speaking roles. Am I correct in that? It was Gadriel. I think I'm saying her name right.
From what I can tell, I mostly saw males on the screen.
And it was the woman who was at the village. I don't remember her name. The one who was the single mom. That was it, wasn't it?
That's what I remember.
So what is he talking about? Let me read his tweet. Let me read his tweet about that. He said almost every male character so far is a coward, a jerk, or both. A coward, a jerk, or both. Only Gadriel or Galadriel is brave, smart, and nice. I don't see that though. I don't see that.
It just kind of feels like to me he's criticized. He can't say what he really wants. It's like there should be no blacks in there, but he's criticizing it in an off touch kind of way. And then in the comments, then he kind of started getting into what he really wanted to talk about.
You think he was talking about black people?
They're so mad that there's this black elf character. They think it's not historically accurate. So some fictional universe with magic and elves and little midget men running around. You mad that somebody with melanin appears? Because historically that's what the Lord of the Rings was. It's like this mythical realm where white people don't have to deal with Negroes, and they just Star Wars was like that at one point until they brought in Lando, and when they brought in Lando, they were pissed off about that.
So you think the original tweet? You think the first tweet was the dog whistle, and then he gave further explanation?
No, the tweet where he commented on the article about racist. The whole article was talking about racist criticism, how racists are like criticizing the show, and he was like, "Well, the real racists are the ones criticizing the people criticizing the show."
Yeah.
So you have nothing to say about that's the dog whistle. He's really saying, I'm on the side of the racists because I don't want to see Negroes on the screen either because I'm a racist. But instead of just saying that, he'd rather gaslight and say, you know what? Those are the real racists. The ones who are pointing out the racism. It's just what right-wingers do. I see it every day.
He really almost got me with that tweet. We had to sit there and for a couple of minutes and really just like break it down. Because I was like, I read that and I was like, is it a typo? Because at first I thought he was trying to say, if you're criticizing Rings of Power, you're a racist and you're outing yourself as racist. But
no.
Yeah.
No, Elon to me just gives 4chan troll with a fuckload of money. That's the energy he gives me. Just a little racist little muskrat running around dog whistling all the time. And when he's behind closed doors, he's just all full-on Nazi. I don't fuck with him.
Muskrat, pun intended.
I guess, pun intended.
Do we have anything else to say about Elon Musk?
That's really it, man.
I don't really have anything much more to say about the whole criticism of why is it just with fantasy?
Because I don't know. It's like fantasy. They just feel like they have a monopoly on fantasy. They just because their fantasy is that we don't exist. Their fantasy is that they don't have to worry about our existence. It's just they want to live in a world where it's just all these magical creatures and aliens and no Negroes. That's what it always felt like to me. A world without an ideal world for a racist white is one where we're all dead. And it
doesn't even have anything to do with representation because, I was trying to think about it in terms of like, are there any other groups of people who, when they see a TV show or a film casting choice, are like, no, I don't agree with that casting choice. It doesn't represent that. Like, the only time I could ever think about that happening with a group of people is if it's like a movie about Asian people and they don't use Asian people. Or if it's a movie.
If it's set in our world. And it's like, it's set in our world and it's Black Panther and it's just Europeans running around in Wakanda. That doesn't make any sense. But if it's just, I just created a whole new land. A land of cotton candy, gums, and rainbows. And there's these people, these humanoid, we're just going to say humanoid looking people who've evolved to live with cotton candy. They can be, you can cast whatever the fuck you want them to look like.
It's fake.
Yeah, it's fantasy.
Why did I so your point is probably right, that it probably is the fantasy, because like why, like they do it with everything fantasy. They do it with Star Wars.
Everything fantasy. Star Wars.
They did it with the Peter Jackson. We talked about this last week, so I don't want to keep.
When they brought in Lando, I'm talking to my mom about this. You know, she was alive back then. When they brought in Lando, they were having a fucking fit.
Oh, in the 80s?
Yes. I've talked to my mom about this. She's like, she was born in 54. 59.
Because they had
59. So she was young when they brought in Lando. She's probably about our age, maybe a little younger, when they brought in Lando. And they were pissed off. They were like, Negro carver. You know, I don't know what they were saying. But she said they were mad because people were saying, like, how in this futuristic world where it's like humans and all these aliens running around, there's no black people.
Yeah.
You okay with an Ewok, you okay with Jar Jar Binks, but God forbid a Negro appears. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. And they still act like that.
Niggas can have telekinesis, but black people?
Jar Jar Binks and Ewoks and the little Ahsoka creatures with the antennas. A Negro appears and they can't take it. They be all on 4chan just clicking the keyboard on 4chan. Cannot take it.
Ridiculous. Really doesn't make any sense. Are we gonna take it to the politics? Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, we can take it. We can take it there. I'm not most well read on this one, but we can take it there.
Yeah, we were talking about Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about this Black Lives Matter situation. I think that it was like over, I don't know the exact number, so let me not even just throw out some bullshit number. But there was a good amount of Black Lives Matter executives and leaders who sued a man, and I'm not going to throw out his name, but who sued a man for allegedly siphoning $10 million worth of donations from the Black Lives Matter organization. I was thinking about a couple of things when I heard about this news. The first thing I thought about was Black Lives Matter is obviously just like a money laundering ring.
It honestly is a money laundering ring. It's somebody saw an opportunity. I'm pretty sure those ladies who bought those mansions are not even foundational Black American, for one.
And they all stand behind it. They all stand behind it too.
And they're robbing it because they don't see any allegiance with it. Most Black immigrants who come over here, they are for their tribal group, they're for their ethnic group, and they say, "Ooh, BLM, ooh, Negroes who these lost Negroes who just pretend like we all kumbaya."
That's a good point.
It's time to get this money.
That's a good point.
That's literally what it is.
Great opportunity.
You know
seized
what I mean?
it.
They're Akatas to me, they're Jareers, they're Yankees to me. I don't care, but when I'm around them, we all black brother. And I'm gonna be robbing them blind. And they're taking a lot of white people's money too. That's a lot of white people's donations as well. So that's the only thing I gotta say about it. It's just people took a slogan, turned it into some kind of donation, some kind of sham company, and just took donations and ran with the money.
Now, do people even realize that Black Lives Matter is an organization? And why are there so many different, like, it's a conglomerate organization. It's like I don't want to call it an enterprise, but it's like a conglomerate.
And what do they actually do?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's front. They're just collecting money, pretending like they care about us. And a lot of these guys are not even of our lineage.
What do they do? Because when people say Black Lives Matter, they're not speaking about the organization. They're speaking about the movement.
Or they're using it as a dog whistle.
Go on and wait. What do you mean?
We have to stop BLM. We have to defeat BLM.
I'm talking about black people that are referring.
But that's just code for we got to stop the blacks. That's just a front way of saying we got to stop the blacks. Because like, what does BLM do? You have to stop BLM from doing what? Stealing more money?
Does anything?
They don't do anything. They just collect donations and buy Lambos and Rarries. Most of them are not even FBA.
Why is it so easy for them to get away with this?
I don't know, because people aren't checking them.
What do you think that this man did different? What do you think that this man did different? I'm not going to use his name, but what do you think that this man did differently than his predecessors? Because they obviously are getting paid. This is a Is this a nonprofit organization? I believe it is, correct?
I mean, I believe it's a nonprofit.
If they're getting most of their money
organization.
from donations, I believe that this is.
I believe it's a nonprofit organization.
And yet they are able to get paid. They pay themselves using the donations. What did he do any differently than his predecessors that garnered, I think it's like around 20 people that said that they're going to file a lawsuit against this guy? Not as individuals, but like, what did he do any differently? It seems like he's in line with what Black Lives Matter stands for.
I'm not very well read on what he did specifically.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what he did specifically versus the other ladies. I just know the other ladies were buying mansions and Lambos and all kinds of luxury items off the money people gave
Assets,
them.
dog. Assets.
Yeah.
Wealth. I really wonder. I do. Do we stand behind Black Lives Matter as an organization? I don't know.
No,
I'm very
I stand behind
fascinated
the
by
grassroots.
this. Because I'm not even really thinking about it in terms of. Obviously, I have a couple of questions about the fact that, this man stole $10 million worth of donations. A fucking Dr. Umar 2.0. Fucking Dr. Umar.
Much more successful.
There's nothing you could do about him.
Much more
because he's
successful,
number
Dr. Umar.
Whether you like him or
I don't
know.
stand behind an
there's nothing you
organization
can do about him because
run by
he's number one.
immigrants and white people. I don't stand behind an organization run by black immigrants, white people, and other groups of people who could care less about my lineage that allowed them to come over here, right? So I stand behind my lineage, my people in the streets, in the grassroots. That's what I stand behind. I don't stand behind a corporation running around exploiting me. Groups of people who hate me and have slurs for me, but they're somehow leaders in something that's supposed to represent me. But next thing you know, they are running off, buying Lambos off of my name and my people's name. I can't respect that.
I know what you mean. I'm just very fascinated by the fact that black people have no allegiance to Black Lives Matter as the organization.
Yeah, most FBA have no allegiance because people knew it was some bullshit. Like this guy I watch, he talks about how like during the protests, people were out there saying Black Lives Matter, and all of a sudden, just this random organized group of people showed up saying we're BLM. Doesn't that seem like some undercover psyop, destroyer movement shit, some Asian shit? I don't know. Sounds very fishy to me. All of a sudden, people are shouting Black Lives Matter, and then there's a mysterious organization says, well, we're actually BLM.
We don't even care about this topic. Not us personally. I'm saying, like, as a community, we don't even care about this topic.
Because people know it's some bullshit. People know it's bullshit. The only thing pisses me off is that people don't have yet to realize that we're not all just black. Not all kinfolk is skinfolk. It's lineage.
Other way around.
Right? What do you mean?
Not all skinfolk.
Not all kinfolk.
Not all skinfolk.
Isn't that what I said? Not all skinfolk is kinfolk. I didn't say
okay.
not
I thought
all
you said the
kinfolk
other
is
way
kinfolk. Yeah, like growing up, I've seen on multiple occasions other groups of Africans saying, he's an Akata, or he's a bad influence, or he's blah, 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 or just all kinds of, you know what I mean? So, like, why would I trust you to run an organization that's supposed to be for my interests? Because George Floyd was an FBA. And next thing you know, these guys are running around with all the money. They don't give a fuck about you. Now, if it was all people who have a history of being on code, history of being in the streets, history of getting shit done, history of being trustworthy, and they're FBA, I could get behind that.
What if they have all of the things that you just mentioned, but they're not FBA?
No.
Just period, point blank.
I believe period, point blank. No. I believe in delineation. I believe in focusing on my group specifically and having someone who looks like me and is of the same lineage as me representing my interests.
I had to make sure, but Marcus Garvey was not from the United States.
Yeah, he was Jamaican. He's a non-FBA.
And you have a problem with him?
I'm not well versed enough on Marcus Garvey, but I do know there's some aspects of him being problematic that are coming to light. But I can't.
What
speak
person
on it yet.
isn't problematic? Like, no one can be perfect.
That he was like, I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was like he was like passing out white supremacist books But see, I'm not gonna speak on it. I can't speak on it. But it was some weird shit I read recently. But I'm not gonna speak on it. But yeah. If this is my thinking. Like if you're on code with us and you come over here and you don't undermine us and what we're trying to do, yeah, you black. Like you're not FBA, but like we can be on that kumbaya. But it's gonna take, if you're a public figure speaking for my interests, we got to have the whole background squared away. If we got the background squared away and they're trustworthy, that's fine. I can get behind that. But I'd be more comfortable with an FBA. That's all I'm saying. I grew up on that Pan-African nonsense. I'm not on it anymore.
Okay. You had some thoughts about Young Boy. 22 years old. Said children now. About to be.
It's like, at a certain point, this is mental illness and depression. It has to be. Some kind of depression, some kind of
That's
fetish
interesting. I've never heard that.
mixed together.
Why?
Because how? I mean, I see how, but like, and this is on both ends. It's not even just him. It's like, it's the women too. But it's both. Like, like after 3, right? I'm 23. After 3, I'm getting a vasectomy. And we're done. There's no reattaching. I'm done. How do you let it get to 10 children? Just look at this guy. He looks like he's deranged.
Well, what happened was Nick Cannon said, "I bet you'll never have as much as me," and he took that person.
And I think all the time, like, this dude probably just like fuck a condom, and he just goes from show to show to show every night, and it just pumps seed, like that video we posted. He just pumps seed. He just pumps seed and just sees what happens.
You don't think that
she got pregnant? Cool.
You don't think
she's
that
pregnant? All right.
You don't think he has the same, or you don't think that if you were in his position, you would have the same mindset that you have now? Because you can afford it.
Yeah, I like to think I would have the same mindset because I don't want children for a long time. Me personally, I do not want children till I'm like in my mid-30s. I'm like approaching. I'm like in my 24 is that still early 20s or is that considered mid-20s?
24 is early. I mean, I don't think it really makes a difference.
Yeah, so I have another 10 years, 10, 11 years before I'm like, all right, I'll pump seed a couple of times and then get the tube cut. But that's it.
You don't think that
I would not have his mindset.
Why do you think that it matters? Like, you brought this topic. Like, why do you think it matters?
Well, I think it matters because the man is 22. The man, he's not that rich. Young boy is not that rich.
You got a few million.
How can you actually have a relationship with 10 kids by 10 different women? How does that work? And you a young dude, rapper, rock star running around everywhere. You're just bringing in children in this world who not going to have a real father. Let's stop the bullshit right now. Now, if it was like he had a steady girlfriend and they were just fucking and she had like twins one year, she had like the next year
John
she
and
had
Kate
like
plus 8.
4. Yeah, and it was like one lady. Then I'd be like, it's just one lady. Like y'all have a lot of kids, but he has money. She just so happens to have like twins and quadruples all the time. I'd be like, oh, well, all right. I mean, like, that's kind of like like the Octomom. Like that's kind of like a freak accident, but like, maybe it's meant. Like, cool, dude. But 10 different women? That's a problem.
Is it 10 different women?
We know it's not one.
Well, obviously.
So, I don't know if it's 10. I don't know if it's 10 different women, but it definitely is more than 5. I would bet money. I would bet $100 on it being more than 5. That's an easy bet that I would win.
I do think that these people need to slow down, him and Nick Cannon included. Future included.
You're bringing all these kids in the world you're not going to have actual real time for. If I had just 10 little kids running around here, bro, I'd put the gun be in my mouth right now. Hell no.
That was dark.
Like, I wouldn't actually do it, but, like, I'd be, like, depressed as hell. You know what I mean? I'd be like, damn, like, I got to take this kid to this practice. I got to take this kid to that practice. I got to run around here. I got to change these diapers. Uh-oh, he spilled a whole bunch of baby food on the floor. Now I got to go clean that up. Oh, he's running around up down the stairs. He hurt himself. I got to put a Band-Aid. But the other two that I first helped, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I used to watch these shows, and my parents, when I was a kid, was like, these like white families, they would have like 10, 11, 12 kids. And these people would send donations in and buy them these big houses. And it'd be like a reality show for like these white families who had like, some of them had like 15 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck does that, how do you even drive everyone?
So you don't
How does that
believe
even
when
work?
Nick Cannon says, like, we have a good thing going, we have an understanding, we have an agreement of how to co-parent in these situations?
It just kind of feels like loose polygamy to me. If he just came out and was like, bro, I just want to hear him. I've wanted this my whole life. I'm willing to devote the time it takes to have multiple wives that aren't really my wives, but they kind of are. Like, it feels like loose at least on Nick Cannon's case, it kind of just feels like loose polygamy mixed with him probably, hopefully not, but he acts like he's a man who's dying, who just wants to Genghis Khan it before he heads out.
Genghis Khan it.
But
That's
like,
a great verb.
You know, young boy just seems like he's just like a leaned up jackass who refuses to use a condom, and he just doesn't give a fuck.
I just hope he doesn't bite him in the ass because, like you said, he's only 22, dude. This guy's younger than us.
Yeah.
Our career.
Imagine you had 10 little kids running around your house right now.
A musician's career of the type of wealth that it's going to take in order for you to be able to provide for 10 children at the age of 22. It's not even like he's like 39. He's 22. So that's one thing that I think about. I think about, like, he's on pace to have as many children or half as many children as his age.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been having children since you were 16 and you have 10 of them, when you're 25, you could very well probably have like 13, 14 children. Half as many as your age.
The fact that the dude hasn't cut the tube at this point, I don't know what to say. He's a psycho. That's mental illness. You have 10 children and you haven't gotten a vasectomy. That's mental illness.
I can see where you're coming from with that. I can see that.
Like, there's this video, like, my mom loves watching this show called Ayanla Fix My Life.
I know that show.
There's a guy, he had like 30 kids. Dude legitimately was mentally ill. Like, he had a fetish. He just liked impregnating women. Like, that was his thing.
It was like an addiction.
It was like an addiction. And he would get, like, he had, like, some of the women, like, and they brought all the women and all the kids, and it looked like it was a family reunion. I'm dead ass. And some of the women he had, like, some of the women he had, like, 2, 3, 4 kids with. I'm like, so you don't know about this guy's, like, 25 other children?
What did they say?
They basically were just like, he charmed me, or I didn't care, or I thought we had something, and he's slick, and that's mental illness on your part too. You know about all these man's children, and you keep having kids with this guy. Oh, you have 20 other kids? I'll get pregnant again. Oh, you have 25 other kids? I guess I'll get pregnant by you again. Mental illness on both sides. Same thing with Future, even same thing with Nick Cannon. I feel like a lot of it is, 'cause I think he was like a producer or something. Like, I don't know how he was making that much money, but he seemed like...
Young boy?
He seemed like the guy in that Ayanla, he kind of seemed like he had a little bit of change. He probably wasn't rich. But, like, when you think about, like Future, if everybody knows Future has, like, 11 kids, you still gonna fuck Future and let him get you pregnant because you think it's different with you. Oh, I'm different. My pussy is better. I don't know what they're saying, right? And then it's the same shit. Like, that's mental illness. That's insanity. You watch other people just run into a brick wall. Imagine you went outside and just a whole bunch of dudes are taking turns, ramming their cars, getting back, going 80 into a wall and dying, going 80 into a wall and dying, going 80 into a wall and dying. And you're like, well, my car is different. My car is made of vibranium. My car is different. You do the same thing and die. That's literally what people who get with Future, get with Nick Cannon, get with all these other people do. They see a graveyard of cars in front of this brick wall, and they think their car is strong enough to pierce the wall. They don't give a fuck. They
Now
watch,
let me
they
ask
watch
you
it
a
over and
question.
over again.
Now let me ask you a question. I'm gonna put your methodology to the test. Right here, right now. If you had, who's your favorite celebrity?
Just in general?
Woman. Just name a random. Doesn't even have to be a favorite. I know that makes people struggle.
Like Tessa Thompson.
If
I'd
you,
say Tessa
well, she's
Thompson.
lesbian, dude. Like, make it real. All right, fine. I can use Tessa Thompson. Whatever. Fuck it. If Tessa Thompson came to you and she was like, Elliot, I didn't know that I was bisexual until I saw you.
Oh my God.
I want you to have my children. But by the way, I also have 9 other children that I'm not telling anybody about. You don't have to deal with any of those 9 children.
But
This
I
is
know
gonna be
though.
I just want to have children with you. I want you to be the father of one of my children. And I have everything covered. All of everything that you ever need, I have it covered. I'll give you bands a month. You're going to get $5,000 a month. Minimum. And all you have to do is just take care of the kid. You don't have to work. You don't have to talk to me unless it's something to do with the kid. You don't have to do anything. I just want to have a kid with you. I want you to be the father of my kid. You're telling me that you would be like, no, and it's just your
Yes, I would
first
be
kid.
like, no.
It's your first kid.
Want to know why?
And you get paid essentially for having a kid. Sure. Because I don't
Wanna
believe
know
you. I don't believe you.
Because I'm not sharing you with a whole bunch of men, for one. 2, I want to be in a relationship where I don't have kids, she doesn't have kids. 3, I got my own money. I don't need the 5 bands, right? And I pipe, but I'm not giving you a baby because I'm an only child too. So I'm selfish. I need all that attention for me. So I'm not doing that. Fuck that. That's on principle. And that's kind of soft to me. Like, it's kind of like bummish. Like, she's like, you made me bisexual and you look like you're good in bed. Give me your baby and I'll give you money a month. That just seems like some I don't know what, I don't even know. That seems like baby being a sperm donor with extra steps. Like, nah, bro, I want a real relationship.
What's the difference between that scenario and someone that only had 0 children? And they were having your first?
I get all the attention. And I feel
Same
like
scenario.
There's no second, third, or fourth.
Same
there's
scenario.
No baby daddy I got to worry about. It's just me and her and a child.
Oh, so you think, so it's the other people? What if okay, let's say,
Yeah.
okay, then let's say it this way. Let's say it this way then. Because I don't believe you. I know I'm going to be able to find a hole in this argument at a certain point. Let's say that the 10 children were adopted. The 9 other children were adopted. She's on some Angelina Jolie shit. 9 adopted children. And she came to you and she was like, I want you to have my child. Or I want, because you're not a woman. I want to have a child by you. And there's no strings attached to any other men. You're still not going to have the child.
No, because I want my own lineage, bro. I don't know about adopted kids. But I will say, if it was like, I was like impossibly
It is
in
your
love,
own lineage. There's children that don't belong to you.
I don't even think that it's even possible. But if it just so happened possible that I'm just like, I go full simp and I have hard eyes. Every time I see her, my eyes turn to hearts like an anime, right? And she had like one adopted kid that she just adopted just on a whim. She's just like, I'll adopt him. Or she saw some homeless kid on the street and she adopted him. That'd probably be the only way that I consider it. But I have to come in and be a father for 9 kids plus
No,
10?
no,
Got
you
me
don't.
fucked up.
No, you don't. I'm saying you have. I'm trying to make it a scenario like a Nick Cannon situation or like a NBA YoungBoy situation. You just happen to have a child with Tessa Thompson who also happens to have 9 other kids. No baby daddies. You're telling me that you would not have a child with Tessa Thompson?
No.
I don't believe you. But that's fine. I just don't believe.
No strings attached means I have to be a single dad. She pops in every now and then because she has 9 kids to look after. No.
But you're set.
5,000. I got my own money. I'm a man. I'm not saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of these women
It's 5K.
who get with these
I'm
rappers,
not saying you're not gonna work.
They see it as I have a baby to have a come up to where I'm making a solid 60, 70K a year to just have young boy's baby. I don't need that.
Perhaps, or maybe
They're doing that. They're doing that for a come up.
Perhaps.
I don't need a come up.
Or maybe they just have an attraction to NBA Youngboy. Maybe they have a relationship that works for them with NBA Youngboy, and NBA Youngboy is like, "Yo, I want to have a child with you," and they're like, "I want to have a child, and I fuck with you. Let's have a kid." Oh, and on top of that, I get paid to take care of this child.
Quick, like Drake and his baby mama. Like he probably smashed her 2 or 3 times. Maybe not even 2. Maybe only 1 time without the Jimmy. Was acting stupid. Didn't see her again. Next time he hears from her, I'm pregnant. I'm getting that Drake money.
I wonder why he went on his little.
I promise you
this is kind of getting off topic, but I wonder why Drake went on his little marketing advertising debut of his child for like a couple of years, a few years actually, and then just stopped. You notice that?
I don't know. I noticed that. Well, I mean,
he had a whole campaign.
I would not want my children on TV.
No, I get that. But when the news came out, then he had a whole campaign about like, oh yeah, I accept the fact that I'm this baby's child, or I'm this child's father. A whole campaign for a couple of years.
People were trying to clown him because the child was like really white looking. At least that's the theory I've seen online. That like he had to accept that like the people were going to come after him. I'm like, well, what did he think the baby was going to look like?
The theory.
Drake pretty damn white himself, but
what theory? The baby is half white.
The baby is a quarter white.
No, the baby is half white.
The baby is baby is 3/4 white. That's what I meant. Drake is half white.
Okay. Well, same shit.
And then his baby.
So what do you mean come to
white.
terms with?
Well, because like people clown Drake over the stupidest shit. So I feel like if he showed his son, his quarter black son, people would be like, "Well, that's a white baby," which is what happened. People were. This is not me saying this. This is just what I've heard people on Twitter say. That's the consensus I've seen on Twitter.
That's what they be saying.
He was hiding the biddy. That's what they be saying. I'm not saying this. That's what I saw on Twitter, is that he had the baby because they thought he was ashamed of how white the baby looked. I don't know if that probably isn't true, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, because I'll tell you, I'll be transparent. Let me think of a woman who's very special to me. If somebody like Raven Lenae came
like
to
Tim's,
me,
or like Georgia Smith.
No, I want someone like Raven Lenae. If someone like Raven Lenae came to me and was like, "Yo, I got 9 kids on the side, but I want to have the 10th by you," I would just do it. I don't even think that, like, you wouldn't just want to have, like, how do you think about having kids? Like,
I don't believe it, bro, because there are going to be times where she's like, I got to go on vacation, Nick. Can you watch my kids?
No, I'll take care of the kid. It's my kid. Like, I feel like you're separating
she
yourself.
Said, can you watch the kids? Meaning, she goes out of town. She can't find a babysitter. She wants you to watch her 9 kids plus your son or your daughter.
No, that's not the agreement. That's not the agreement. I'm putting it in the scenario of a Nick Cannon. If in the scenario of a Nick Cannon, you think that
it's worse in a Nick Cannon scenario,
bro? You really think that all the baby mamas is watching each other's kids?
No, but
exactly.
It's worse on
that's
him
what I'm saying.
They probably gonna drop on Saturday. They drop them all off, or they probably got beef with each other low key.
They do not drop each other. No, they do not. They do not drop each other off. Drop the kids off as somebody else, some random assholes.
House. Maybe, you never know,
bro.
Some of them might be friends.
Stop. That's like if you have the parents that are divorced, and then the dad goes and remarries somebody, and the mom of the original with the original kids goes and drops off her kids at the stepmom's house.
I believe it if they're cool like that and they realize we're all part of an extended family surrounded by one man. Yes. All the children are half siblings. Yes.
You think they go in? Or maybe I shouldn't. No, that's a little.
All the children are half siblings. Yes.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It could happen.
They're all brothers and sisters.
It could happen, but I don't believe that that's how it works. I don't believe that's how it works.
I'm not saying it happens across the board all the time. Some of them might have beef, but like all the kids know each other, so I don't see what the problem is. They acknowledge, oh yeah, that's my sister, that's my brother. They probably don't even say half. They're like, well, we got the same daddy, so that's my brother, that's my sister.
You don't see it as in you having your own lineage just because somebody else has kids. Like, what if you were a 40-year-old man?
Well, that goes back to the whole single mom, stepdaddy thing. I do not. I'm not gonna. I don't unless it was like I had a prior relationship with kids. She had a prior relationship with kids. That's fine. But as a single man, I'm not gonna be getting in a relationship with a single mother and having a child with her. Knock on wood.
But why?
That's just not me. Because I don't want to deal with somebody else's lineage and somebody else's kids.
So, I see
I
what
want
you're
a
saying,
clean
but
slate.
in an ideal world where you never have to worry about her other kids, you're still not gonna have the child.
No.
I just don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're telling me that if your celebrity crush came to you and you had a relationship with your celebrity crush, and your celebrity crush was like, all right, I want you to have a kid for me. I want you to have my kid. You wouldn't have the kid because she has other people that she's had a relationship with in the past?
That she has children and baggage with. No.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
And the baby daddy coming around, and that might have been her first love. I'm good, bro.
I don't believe that. I just don't. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I'm not fighting with somebody's crazy ass baby daddy. I'm not. Got me fucked up.
I don't believe that. I just don't. I would do it. What the fuck is he gonna do to you? You guys don't even cross
Piper
paths.
now when I'm not around, cause that was her first love. Maybe even be her first. So
I feel like our hypotheticals are different because
I'm not
the
stroking it
situations
down on the same level. I'm gonna lose out.
the situations that I'm thinking
Levels
of.
to it.
The situations that I'm thinking of are not the situations that you're thinking of in your mind. It has to be. I think I'm imagining something completely different than what you're imagining.
I'm imagining having men having to compete for a woman. You know what I mean? Like you don't
care about Tessa Thompson. You don't care about Tessa Thompson.
4 baby daddies.
No, you're smashing on Tessa Thompson. You knew in the beginning when you started smashing on Tessa Thompson, with
rubbers.
Sure. You guys were never going to get married. This was a fucking fling. You guys were fucking. You guys like each other. You may even love each other, but you guys are fucking. You have a great relationship, and she's like, I want to have a kid. And you're like, okay, I love you. She's like, I love you too. Let's have a kid. But by the way, I have kids with other people. It's never going to be a thing where you guys are married. It's not that type of partnership. It's a she's going to take care of you and the kid. She's going to help, or I should say it this way. She's going to help you take care, because I know you don't like it when the woman is taking care of you. She's going to help you take care of the kid.
Mom. I got to be contributing at least on the same level.
You are. That's what I'm trying to explain. She's helping you take care of the kid by doing her due diligence and saying, I can afford to allot you $5,000 for the kid. It has nothing to do with the other dudes. You're telling me that if you had a relationship.
I have a thing about, I don't want to just have a child with just a random person who has a whole bunch of other kids. I don't care if she's random. I'm not gonna fall in love with a single mom with 9 kids. Maybe that's what the problem is, because it just fundamentally does not compute in my brain that it would even get that far. As soon as I find out you got some kids, I'm cool.
So you just can't imagine it. Your mind just won't allow you to imagine it.
Cause I'm good. I want clean slate. I'm the only man. All the children.
Good luck with that,
are
bro.
Little Elliots, little Eli's, little Elijah's, little Ezekiel's.
I'm not saying you won't be able to find a woman that doesn't have kids, but good luck with finding someone that has no allegiance to any other man in her life. Good luck with that. That just doesn't exist.
It should exist if you don't have any children.
No.
Now, if she has exes, everybody has exes. That's not what I'm saying.
It doesn't
Everybody
even
has
matter if
exes.
she's dated the guy before, or she's had a relationship with the guy
Everybody has exes.
Bro,
it's not a lot to ask for someone to not
before.
have
A
children.
woman, I'm not even saying that. A woman could pick her fucking father over you or her brother over you. There's no such thing.
Of course, I mean, that's her family. I don't care about that.
I'm just saying,
she
like,
has allegiances to her family. Of course, you have. Like, I have allegiances to my family, right? But at a certain point, we both gonna be family. So that's cool. Like, have allegiance. I'm gonna have allegiance to you. You gonna have allegiance to me. I'm gonna have allegiance to my family.
She can have an
You gonna
allegiance to
your
her
family,
best friend.
and I'm gonna have allegiance to her family. And I hope she has allegiance to my family. That's fine.
Or what about her best
I just
friend?
don't. I don't. That's fine with me. I just don't want to have an allegiance with another nigga, another man, who's the baby daddy.
So I'm
not doing that.
So it's only the baby daddy part.
It's the baby daddy and the kids.
It's the baby daddy and it's the kids.
Yes.
Even
I don't
if-
want.
'cause
I
I
don't
used
want
the
any other
scenario.
dude's legacy in the marriage.
Because I used the scenario with the adopted kids.
I do not date single moms.
That's fucked up. I don't know
how that's fucked up.
I don't understand that.
Because I'm not gonna be a provider for somebody else's kids.
That's why I'm putting in the and I feel like we're going in circles now, but that's why I'm putting the hypothetical behind it. But you don't have to worry about, and then you're bringing reality into it. But the hypothetical is that you don't have to worry about the other.
I just
kids.
want her. I want her to be focused on my lineage. I want somebody who's like, we are coming together as a partnership to build a lineage that we put all our time and effort into, or at least switch off, because we each have our own time and dreams, but we are a partnership for one lineage. Period.
All right.
Even if we're not even married. I know a lot of people don't believe in traditional marriage, but we'd agree to be co-parents. It could be the same thing with Tessa, where it's like, but she doesn't have any kids though. But it's like, hey, I don't want to get married, but I want a child with you. All right, cool. Okay, cool. We could be FWB co-parents. I'm cool with that. Yeah. But see, that can be problematic later on, because then she can meet another dude and have his baby, and I'll be in the same situation. So maybe marriage is important. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's conflicting. It's confusing.
It's interesting topics. Got to know a little bit about you there. Got to know a little
What's
bit.
wrong with me not wanting to date? So
I'm not
I
saying
thought we
there's
talked
anything
about
wrong.
this before.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I just don't think that just because someone is a single mom, because you say that now at the age of 24. If you're saying that at the age of 45, I think there's a problem.
If I had my own kids,
No, I'm saying you're still
at 45.
Single. No, I'm saying you're still single. You're still single.
Single
you're still
with no
without
kids.
And you're saying that at 45. Like, that sounds like some Kevin Samuels shit.
Come on, though. I don't believe that's Kevin saying. At 45, I mean, I was born. My dad was 45, so he didn't have kids. But I don't know. But my mom was 39. She didn't have kids either. It can be done.
You can't. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at that age. I'm just saying if you have a type of, just like this, you said it was principle. If you have a certain principle that you're not going to date single mothers, and you're fucking 45, and you're dating in your pool of 45-year-old women.
If you are 45 and you are a well-to-do man, you are high. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I was gonna say.
Yes.
But if you're a well-to-do man, that's how I'm spinning around. I'm not gonna say the other version of it. You should have no problem finding a 30-some to 40-some-year-old woman who doesn't have kids, who's high value herself, brings a lot to the table that you can settle down with. I 100% believe that.
You can find it. But for that to just be like the end all be all, I just don't. I don't know about it. At this age, that makes sense. I dated a girl just recently, last year, who had a kid. I knew it wasn't going to do anything with her.
And that's what I was about to ask.
But I'm also 24. But if I was 45 and I'm like, oh, she just has a kid, like, sure, there's another nigga in the picture, but
I feel like she's like, the baby daddy's like her type, and you might be a type too, but she's looking at you as the dude who's providing. The baby daddy's a deadbeat.
You are providing.
right? But if you're not, I don't know.
You're providing for her and she's him. Or you're providing for her and the kid is her.
I just feel like you got to know what you're signing up for. We talked a couple months ago about the guy with the Mickey D's. He got with the lady, knew she had all these kids. And then when he decided, I'm only going to provide for my son, she said, you know that's fucked up. You need to bring McDonald's for all the children. I'm not getting caught like that. I'm not providing for 3 or 4 other deadbeats' kids. We're not doing that. I'm providing for my lineage. If I have 3 kids that are all Elliot Scott Gilliam Jr. or some type of Eli or Ezekiel or Alice if I have a daughter, right? Because I want to name. If I had a daughter, I would definitely name my daughter.
Man, that scenario is so. I'll let you finish.
Of course, I'm gonna bring 4 or 5 McDonald's for my children because those are my kids.
That scenario is so.
I just don't believe in it.
Low energy to where this nigga really was fighting not bringing a Happy Meal for a few other additional children. That's so low. That's
the
low
dude
energy.
probably was broke. The dude if you a high value man with money, that means nothing. But if he's a guy who makes minimum wage, the best he can probably do is get a Mickey D's for his son.
My nigga, you think you can't spend $20 on a Happy Meal for a few kids?
It's more than 20, bro. It's expensive as hell. I can promise you, a four Happy Meals is probably like $30-something. Now,
You probably spend that on your own meal.
we can look it up right now.
You probably spend that on your own meal. That's not expensive. I mean, I don't know.
Depends, man. Who you talking to? 30 is high these days for people like. What is it? How much is a Happy Meal at Mickey D's?
$5?
That's in 2018. What is 2022? It probably is 5. I saw one that said it was. We're gonna say it's 5. That's $20, right? The man may not. We're just gonna say it's 5. Probably it's like 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6.
All right.
Right?
$24.
We said it's 5. 4 kids. Well, let's say but that's 4 plus his son, right? So what we said is 5 times 5. It's 25. $25. $25, and let's say he does it several times a week. He can't do it several times a week. Every time he's getting Mickey D's, let's say this isn't like Virginia or someplace where the minimum wage is like $7. That's
then
hours of work.
You change up the game. Then you change up the game. You don't show up to where you have to provide to all of the kids. Then you got to start thinking strategically if you really don't have $25 fucking dollars. I know you spend $25 on some bullshit. I know you spend $25 on some bullshit. But if you don't have $25 to spend a couple of times a week on some McDonald's, because you go spend that money on someplace else. But if you really don't have it, then just don't show up when she has all the kids. Wait till the kid is with you and get him some McDonald's. We're in another stratosphere of conversation now, but the relationship talks are very interesting to me. They're very interesting to me. We don't really speak about it too much.
Those are the best ones because we have very differing opinions on the whole thing, which is funny. I like probing people's minds. Most people I know do not believe in dating single moms, so
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, at this age, I am not going to attach myself to a single mom at this age. But let's say I was dating some woman at this age for 10 years, and now I'm 34. She still only has the one kid because she's only been with me. What do you think about that? Would you have the kid with her then? Or would you from the get-go just be like,
what
nah,
do you mean?
I'm saying if we're 24, we're both the same age. We're like a month apart. If we're dating a woman at our age now who has a kid, are you going to just not date her anymore because she has a kid? Or would you let that relationship take its course and, hey, sometime in the future, you find out, hey, you look at it and it's like, oh, damn, I'm 8 years in the future now. And we've been dating each other for 8 years. I'm ready to settle down with this woman. You're not going to have a kid with her because she has a kid?
No.
What?
Pipe down. Friends with benefits.
I don't understand that, bro. Let's move on because I don't want to go in circles.
We're moving on because it wouldn't get that long. It wouldn't get that far. It wouldn't be a real relationship. I'd just be piping down. It'd just be friends with benefits.
Yeah, you wouldn't take her
as soon as she caught
serious.
feelings, I wouldn't catch feelings. But as soon as she caught feelings, be out. So,
All right.
which is wrong because that's been done to me. I caught feelings, got dipped out on, but that's the game.
So now we're gonna move into
We
our
can move
watch
on.
list. We're gonna move into our watch list, and we have a long watch list for this week. I really want to start number 1 with "Don't Worry, Darling." So obviously everybody knows, not everybody, but if you guys keep up with film, you know that the Venice Film Festival is going on right now. Venetian Film Festival. Is it Venetian or Venice? I thought it was Venice. Let me look it up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's Venice. That's what I fucking thought. The Venice Film Festival is going on right now, and one of the most popular movies that they were premiering at the festival was this movie, "Don't Worry, Darling," featuring Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde as director. And there was a Spitgate controversy that happened this weekend. I'll probably put the video on here because I think it's hilarious. I'll probably put the video in the final edit. But it looks as though Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine, and people are calling it Spitgate. I want to know if you thought, you said that you saw it and you didn't see it.
I didn't see it, but it must have been subtle.
Bro, it looks like, I'm going to put the video on the final edit, but it looks like this dude leaned over as he was being introduced and spit on Chris Pine's leg. And Chris Pine, like, the only reason why I think that he did it is because Chris Pine looked down unnaturally. Like, when Harry Styles leans over, Chris Pine looks down quickly. Like, it looks down, like something happened, like something hit his leg. And then looks up like with a sarcastic, like, "Oh my God, this nigga did not just spit on me" type look. And then he looks at him, and then Harry Styles looks at him, and then Chris Pine like looks forward. There was something there. There was a dynamic there. I think he spit on that motherfucker.
So is this an in-movie scene or is this?
No,
like
this
some
is at the
in-character
festival. This is
craziness?
at the festival. They were premiering their episode.
I feel like I don't think he did that. I think that was in character. I think when we see the movie, it'll make more sense. I think they were in character.
Why would they be in character at the end of the film? I mean, when the film is being premiered, they're not even shooting anymore.
I don't know. They look weird. They look like they were like still in character at the premiere, or maybe they got some kind of weird game going on if they were involved spitting on loogies and spit. I don't know.
It looks fucking crazy. It looked fucking crazy. And obviously the representatives are gonna come out, do their PR thing. Oh no, the two gentlemen have the ultimate respect for one another. They would never. It's asinine to believe that you could even spread such rumors. You know what they're gonna do. But to me, it's clear this nigga, and they have Zapruder footage of it, where it's like they're slowing it down and they're zooming in on it. Then they're zooming in on Chris Pine's face, and then they're zooming in on the
loogie.
Yeah, they're trying to pick it apart. I'm on the side. It's like, this is kind of like is the dress black and gold or is it white and blue or whatever the fucking dress was? What side were you on that?
I beat his ass. Somebody spits on me. I beat his ass.
On the dress, was it blue and black or was it white and gold?
It was blue and it was blue and black.
Yeah, I think it was blue and black too.
Yeah.
That's crazy that shit happened. It's like it's the dress part 2. And what else do we have? Oh! I wanted to. So Olivia Wilde, when she was being interviewed for the movie, I guess she was asked about her muses, and one of the things that she revealed was that the initial concept that she got for the main antagonist of the film. So the film is basically like The Truman Show. It's Harry Styles and his wife go to some community, and it's like some falsified community. It's like it's just a facade of a community, and I guess she has to escape or something. It's just a thriller. But the leader of this cultish community, it looks like it's gonna be a good movie. I'm gonna go see it. The leader of the cultish community is played by Chris Pine, and she said that she got the idea for for that role from Jordan Peterson. And if anybody's not familiar with Jordan Peterson, I don't know how, but Jordan Peterson is a Canadian, I think he's a psychologist or a behavioral psychologist, I think. And he got popular in the States because basically he didn't want to use gender inclusive language.
It just seems like a little like pseudo intellectual little dog whistler.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, because when we were talking about the topic
about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, when we were talking about the topic pre-recording, you said that, and I was like, "What do you mean by pseudo intellectual?"
And I mean, I remember I don't know a lot about Jordan Peterson. Only thing I know is I watched a little documentary about him. It wasn't very long, and I just from what people say, so I can't speak. I'm not very educated on it. But what I can say is anybody that gets attraction by that kind of audience, like his fans are like Joe Rogan fans and like Elon Musk fans. He's in that sphere.
Cuck energy.
I touch you with a 10-foot pole. So there really isn't anything for me to even really say and look at. It's like, if these people adore you and hold you up, and Ben Shapiro fans, if these people hold you up, these people want me dead, whether they admit it or not. So I could care less. I really could care less. He just kind of, if you appeal to white supremacists, open white supremacists, it's not for me. It just isn't.
What does pseudo-intellectual mean to you, though?
I'm not. Well, I feel like pseudo-intellectual is that they clean up very well. Like it's like a Dave Duke, like KKK kind of thing. Like alt-right people, they at least that's how it was initially postulated. Is they don't want to be as crass as like a card-carrying white supremacist. They want to put on a suit and go out and, well, these are the statistics that blacks are actually inherently criminal, and here are the statistics, and we can do this and reference this and reference that, reference this pseudo, you know what I mean? They're just like, they present like they're just so intelligent, they're so great, when you really do the research on what they're saying, they're no different than a card-carrying white supremacist pushing propaganda and pushing lies. They just present as if they're an intellectual. They present as if they're just a super intelligent person when they're really just a card-carrying white supremacist.
Is there anybody else that you can think of that's like that?
I'd say like Ben Shapiro. What was another pseudo intellectual?
Because don't you think that even though you don't
that's
agree,
what I think when I hear that term.
Don't you think that even though what they're saying is stupid and it's just ignorant, but don't you think that intellectualism is just furthering your thought? It's not just like, don't you think intellectualism is just bringing new thoughts? Or like breaking down? Like, what's the definition of intellectual?
I mean, the way I look at it is, is an intellectual is someone who just ponders the meaning of life and ponders the meaning of human systems, and they take new information and think about it critically and integrate the new information without bias. A lot of these guys just push propaganda. What is intellectual about pushing propaganda, skewing statistic numbers, and running with a narrative and pretending that you're an intellectual? When someone brings you a counter argument, when someone brings you counter evidence, when someone actually critically analyzes what you're saying and shows that it doesn't make any sense, you just call them woke or you just call them super left and you dismiss it. Is that an intellectual?
No. Unless they can.
But they claim to be intellectuals, though.
I mean, I think there's levels to it. Like, I think that there's. You can be a thinker, and then you could be an intellectual. But then you can be not like.
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, I don't think so, because if you're saying
intellectual, thinker versus intellectual, isn't that the same thing?
I don't think so, because I think if you're a thinker, just because you think about something doesn't mean that you stick to what you believe. Like, doesn't mean that you come up with your own opinions. Doesn't mean that you come up with your own theories, your own hypotheses. An intellectual does. A thinker is somebody that's just like, oh, I'm going to ponder on that. But you don't come up with anything.
Well, I'm reading and this is just what a blog post about a thinker versus an intellectual. They say the intellectual sees the world in an abstraction. The thinker tries to emancipate the world from abstraction. The intellectual rations. The thinker is generous. The intellectual seeks security in clever parlor games. The thinker seeks danger, love affairs, and deep friendships. The intellectual lives for equation. The thinker to reach the very pith of meaning. I don't know what he means by that. The intellectual is suspicious of his senses and only trusts his thought world. The thinker's thoughts are deeply felt and unveil a deeply sensual world.
What is this guy
What do you
saying?
think about that?
I don't understand what this guy is saying.
I don't. I clearly am just clearly above my head. Because he says the thinker sees the world in abstraction. Sorry, the intellectual sees the world in abstraction.
That makes sense.
The thinker tries to emancipate the world from abstraction. Almost like the thinker is the foil. The intellectual ponders, sees the box from a different perspective. Everybody doesn't even realize there's a box. The intellectual sees the box and ponders it. The thinker is trying to free you from the box. He's thinking outside the box. Is that what that means?
And I think it's the opposite. I think the thinker doesn't want you to see the box. The intellectual says, hey, we're in a box.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that guy's. I don't like that guy's definition.
The intellectual seeks mirrors and reflections. The thinker awakens. The thinker awakening in depth. I don't know what he means by that.
This guy is doing that weird thing where they do like that classical language where it's like they're trying to talk over people's heads just for no reason. He's talking.
This is a great one though. This one I haven't read yet. The intellectual makes conclusions about reality. The thinker expands the border of consciousness. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
Say that
earlier.
one more time.
The intellectual makes conclusions about reality. The thinker expands the borders of consciousness.
Expands the borders of consciousness.
The intellectual thinks deeply about the tools that he's given and the things that are before his eyes. The thinker thinks far beyond that. The thinker breaks the intellectual sees the matrix code. The thinker's thinking what is beyond the matrix code is what he's basically trying to say.
But the
intellectual thinks the code is all there is. But I can ponder deeply about what the code is beyond the average person.
So
who doesn't even care about the code.
Who do you think is more meaningful, the intellectual or the thinker? Because the intellectual will reach an end. The thinker, it seems like the thinker is just going to continue to be in a state of ponderance.
Yeah, the thinker has no end. I think the thinker is free from because that's what he said. Emancipate the world from abstraction. The thinker is completely liberated from the system. The intellectual ponders the system. The thinkers. That's why I think the thinker will go much further. And I'd rather be a thinker than I'd say an intellectual. Because I think the thinker can be the intellectual and then go beyond that.
But the thinker
It can be both. It can.
I don't think that the thinker ever reaches a conclusion. The thinker never, because they don't reach a conclusion, the thinker will never write down and document what they have thought, thus becoming the intellectual. The thinker will always keep the thought to himself. You'll never share. The thinker will never share with the world.
Like most technology we have in the world would not be possible without the thinker. Intellectual to who understands the code, who understands the current scientific knowledge. But we would never go beyond what we currently have to push further without a thinker being there, is what I think is also important. I think having a balance of both makes a complete person.
Yeah, they could work in tandem. I see that.
There's plenty of things that we don't even know is possible. Because if you're too intellectual, you see everything humans have discovered and you think, these are the hard limits. The thinker is thinking, well, what if we don't have the tools to measure such and such? So you won't even go in a direction to even study that without a thinker. You're just stuck. This is what reality is. This is the hard frame. But the thinker says, we need to look here to even see if it's possible. But the intellectual will set limits on it as well. But I know we kind of stand on this topic too long. But
That's interesting
that was really
to me.
interesting.
The last thing I'll have to say about it is that
intellectual and a thinker.
The intellectual. What makes you think that the intellectual can't come to the thought on his own?
I mean, I think the intellectual sees it. Is inside the frame. It's inside the matrix. They may know the matrix exists, but they can't ponder anything outside of the current system. Like if you have an intellectual who's an economist, they're not thinking, who in America, like in a capitalist system, they may think of ways to improve capitalism. They may think of ways to kind of fix it, but they'll never think, what if we live in a world where there's no concept of money? I feel like that's more of from a thinker perspective. That's outside the matrix. That's outside of the current paradigm. That's outside the current regime. When people start talking to anything outside of the current regime, they get shunned. And you have capitalist, quote unquote, intellectuals, or yes, you can call them intellectuals. They see inside the system. They may offer up solutions for it, but their mind will never wander to what is truly possible. Their mind will never wander out of what has been established and how their mind has been set up, living in a certain society, living in a certain system, or living in a world where only certain things are thought to be possible based off previous discoveries. Without a thinker, you'll never think that it might be possible to go deeper than that.
I can see that. The intellectual has to stay within the vacuum.
Yeah.
I can see that. I still would rather be the intellectual.
Because I think the intellectual, sad to say, in a lot of ways, can get more done. You need a thinker there, though. But the intellectual is still going to be able to solve more problems immediately, I feel, because more people will be for certain social programs, like, universal health, in America at least. They're not, but it would be easier to go to universal health care and universal public, heavily subsidized education than it is to say, you know what? We're going to take all the money from the rich. We're going to strip everybody of their wealth. And we're going to create a whole new system where it's just like, there is no value of money. Everyone just contributes in their set field and everybody just gets, the wealth is just equal. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
People will be more for tweaking the current system and coming with ideas within the current system than they are just completely going outside of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let's take a break because I have to use the bathroom. Okay. No, but Jordan Peterson is somebody that I'm not afraid to say. I'll be transparent. For a time, I did find inspiration from Jordan Peterson. At least, maybe I don't want to. Well, yeah, I could say inspiration. I also found that he was like a little bit more motivational at a time. Now my thoughts have moved beyond. I don't know if we're relating that to the intellectual and the thinker topic. I've thought past his intellect, so I don't feel the need to go and listen to Jordan Peterson in terms of provoking thought or implementing any type of belief system into my pathology. But for a time, maybe sometime around last year, when I found out about Jordan Peterson, he had some things to say. I think that when you get to the crux, and then you want to talk about how people that are against you in existence, you can't get behind them. And I don't think that you have to be a fan, but I definitely think that you can still digest some, you know what I mean? I don't think that there's always going to be everything they say is going to be diamonds. You have to mine for the diamonds. But I definitely understand at the same time not putting energy into mining in that spot because, it's dirty. It's tough ground. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make an analogy, a metaphor, but.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I've never been impressed. I just haven't been impressed. I mean, from what I've seen, he seems like he's in that Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, little Nazi alt-right. You're the real racist, but these dudes be on 4chan circle. They're calling you the real racist, but these guys, you know what I mean? It's just, I can't get behind them. Anybody in that circle, I just can't fuck with you. Steven Crowders and all them guys and the Joe Rogans, and they all have the same little fans. I just can't do it.
What if all of a sudden right wing, you got a nice right wing fandom? What would you say?
Why would I get a right wing fandom when I'm extremely pro black and I'm all my issues are pro FBA?
What if there was a piece of content that came out and for some reason right wing people were like, I identify with that. And they liked it. Maybe because it's like, I don't know. I don't know how their minds work. Maybe they're like, oh, this guy is speaking his mind. We love freedom. And they got behind it. What would you say about that?
I'll tell him kiss my ass and get ready for reparations. That's what.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. I think we pretty much covered that topic. I want to move into more of this watch list. D23, Disney 23 Expo is coming. I think next week, or maybe this weekend. If you're anything familiar with Disney 23 Expo, they normally will have a great number of reveals for their future projects.
Didn't they already do a huge reveal for Marvel already?
Yeah, they did that at the what was that? Was it just a Marvel?
It was Comic-Con, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I mean they talked about the multiverse saga. They definitely said that, and they talked about Phase 5. But in terms of like getting like the nuance, getting the goods, getting the trailers is really what I'm talking about. Are you looking forward to them saying anything or revealing anything?
I just want to see Ant-Man footage. That's it.
Because Quantumania is the second upcoming film, right? It's Black Panther and then Quantumania. I think we can get a trailer.
I want to see him get his ass whooped. I want to see him get his ass beat down by Jonathan Majors. I started footage for Jonathan Majors hitting the gym like he was a Saiyan from Dragon Ball. And the main character from Shang-Chi, the actor was like, Ant-Man is fucked in this movie. He's gonna get his ass beat.
Maybe.
They're probably actually gonna kill him in this movie.
I don't think they kill him.
And it's just gonna be another Kang. Well, because remember, Kang has so many different variants. That's the problem with Kang, is that Kang is always a threat because he's just gonna come back in a different timeline. It'd just be a different Kang.
Oh, you're saying kill Kang?
Yeah, they can kill Kang as many times.
I thought you were saying kill
That's why
Ant-Man.
he's such a threat, is because he's like a Time Lord. So they kill him, another one comes back. They kill him, another one comes back. They kill him, another one comes back. They kill him. Kang is never truly dead. I know that's true for every Marvel character, but for him, it's like he has that on steroids. Because, like they literally said in Loki, if you kill me, there's just going to be millions and millions of... Like, I'm the good Kang. Almost all the other ones are evil. They want to take over. They want to conquer all of time. So, you kill me, the evil one's going to come. You kill him, even worse one's going to come. You kill him, maybe a slightly not as bad, but he's still evil one is going to come. You kill that one, the worst one of them all is going to come. And he's catching bodies, and you guys are not coming back.
I just want to see the trailers. I mean, I'm not that excited for Ant-Man. I didn't like the last Ant-Man. This one's going to be cool.
I think this is going to be the best one. I think it's going to be the most serious one. It has to be. If they don't make this one serious, then Kang is going to be a joke. Like, he's the new Thanos. Like, he needs to come in and pick Ant-Man up by his neck. Just hold this dude in the air and just, like, fuck you. And just throw him through a time portal. And he's just, like, in prehistoric times.
Yeah.
And has to figure out how to... I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Did they release... They released a full timeline of Phase 5?
I think there was missing some movies, but they revealed a lot.
They did the
of
shows and everything?
I think the Phase... Yeah. I don't think they revealed all of them, though. I think Phase 5 got a full reveal. 6, I think they revealed the Avengers movies, but there's a lot of empty slots. So we don't know what... I know Fantastic Four is coming, I think, into Phase 5.
24.
Mm-hmm. We're definitely getting X-Men. It's probably, like you said, it's not even going to be called X-Men. It's probably going to be called New Mutants or Mutants. It's probably going to be called something like that.
It's not going to be in this phase. It's not going to be in this phase. Furthermore, we could also see from Disney 23 something about these Star Wars shows. The Acolyte. Star Wars, The Acolyte, which I think is going to be a show about, like, Sith. I think it's supposed to be a show about, like, Force-sensitive youth who are raised under the Sith.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that could be cool, but I have no faith in Star Wars and their writers.
And it's I think it's post Episode 9.
On the toilet, as usual.
I think it's post episode 9. So it's about like towards the end of what did they call it? The new empire or some shit.
The First Order.
Oh, okay. But we got some news today that a woman by the name of Jody Turner Smith, who, if you're familiar with Queen and Slim, and was the main actress in that movie, will be joining the cast of Star Wars: The Acolyte, alongside
all right 4chaners.
Amanda Steinberg, who are both of them are black
all right
women.
4chaners.
Both of them are black women.
Oh man, I already can see the crying right now.
It's the Queen.
Disney
takeover.
went woke. The woke are taking over Disney. They're ruining all of our content. They're ruining Disney. The woke.
They're taking over.
We have to fight back against the woke, which really means we need to fight back against the black folks coming in and being on television, because I don't even want to look at them. And my fantasy is all white, like we talked about earlier.
Do you feel like Star Wars is going to be able to be ahead of this?
They weren't able to get ahead of it for the last show, so I don't think they will. I don't think they care. All these companies pretend like they care about black people. They don't care. It's just a marketing ploy. It's like, hey, we notice we got an uptick in some kind of metric if we just have a token black person in the movie, in the show. Pretend like there's real inclusion. We get some kind of uptick in revenue. Like I saw something like that in like the latest DBZ movie, where they had like this like in DBZ, I don't think you've ever seen a black character. And the one black dude in the OG Dragon Ball, he looked like a jigaboo. Like he looked like, you know what I mean? He looked like a stereotype. You know, they had like a black female character who looked like pretty normal in the new DBZ movie. But I'm thinking, they know how many black men love DBZ. There are dudes who don't even like anime, but be talking about, can he beat Goku though?
So they should have.
So I don't want to get too far, but that's my point. But like, they just throw that shit in there because they're like, we got a black audience, so we're gonna just throw in a random black side character.
Oh,
so
that's what you're saying.
You know, because it's uptick in revenue. Like, we don't really care about them, but like, we gotta make it look like, you know, we gotta give them a half-ass shout out to make some money.
I hope Star Wars is able and Disney is able to anticipate that they will be met with a lot. I mean, like I was saying earlier off mic, it's like the first confirmed actress that we knew of was going to be in this show was a black woman. Don't think that there was any hate about it, because she's also kind of fair-skinned. And then the second confirmation was another black woman who is a chocolatey sister. And the people are going
Full figure fudge.
Yeah, so people are going to have something to say. We can assume that she is going to be a main participant in the show. So for Star Wars to have a show that's headed by two black sisters, bro, come on now.
Little Lemon, all the way up to full figure fudge.
I just really
Lemon,
like that.
all the way up to full figure fudge.
I really like
and
that.
everything in between.
I want to see that show.
Yeah, I like it too, but just get ready for the little 4chan bastards.
Yeah, they're talking
little
about
Nazis.
like I'm talking about like what's that shit called? When it's like why did I fucking lose the thought? Where it's like they do it on purpose. It's like trying to make up representation. It's forced diversity. No?
What do you mean?
It's like I forget.
That's what they call it.
What is the term for it?
But my thing, my genocide, isn't that what they call it?
No. It's a
anytime a black person appears in a movie, forced diversity, we're being replaced. White genocide.
It's like
what it's mean.
affirmation.
I
forget what they fucking call it.
Pandering?
No, it's a government. It's a government thing. It's like they
affirmative action.
Affirmative action. Yeah. That's what they say. They always say it's that.
White women benefit from majorly, but it's always associated with black people. We get 1 or 2 seats in a classroom, people lose their fucking minds.
Furthermore, at Disney 23, we probably won't see anything about this because it's going to be after the release, but Pinocchio is coming out this Thursday. Pinocchio is going to be the live-action remake of the original Pinocchio from the 70s. 60s? 50s? I don't know. 50s? 60s? Regardless, are we still watching Disney live-action films?
No.
What-
Last one I watched was Aladdin. That shit was garbage. I'm tired of them rehashing classics. Stop.
Get some
Nobody
help.
wants to see that. Just 4K remaster the old shit and we're good and put it on Disney Plus and we're straight.
That would be tough. 4K remaster these. Can they even do that?
Just use AI and touch it up a little bit.
Do we even want to see a a 4K Cinderella?
Like the Lion King? Like that was so dumb. Why are they remaking now? If they remake Treasure Planet, I'll start hitting the Millie Rock. They remake Treasure Planet, but you know, that's probably the only movie.
They have a lot of them
What's the
set.
problem?
They have a lot of them set. They got Pinocchio. They got fucking. They've done everything for the most part already. They've done a lot of it already, but they have a lot more incoming. And I set on my quest of boycotting Disney live actions. Maybe in like 2017, 2018. I think the last one I saw. What came first, Beauty and the Beast or Lion King?
I
think Lion King.
I'm gonna say Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna look this up.
Let's.
Beauty and the Beast was. Why is it saying 2017? It clearly was not 2017.
No, that sounds right. No, that sounds right.
2017.
The remake, the live action.
Oh, the remake, yeah.
So Lion
the OG
King
was 91.
Lion King came last. Lion King
Yeah.
was the one that was last. Yeah, 2019 was Lion King. So that was the last live action Disney live action that I saw, and it wasn't good. And since that day, because like when I'm looking for in a live action remake is for you to mix it up, which I heard they did with Mulan. When they first started making
No
them,
Mushu.
yeah, exactly. When they first started making them, it started with Maleficent. That was good. They like mixed it up a little bit, but they lost their way. So I'm not watching this shit. And we are heading into recession, and Disney has already been pretty forthright with saying, at least on the Pixar side, that they're going to start doing sequels because it's guaranteed return. They literally said it. They literally said that. They know that they're going to be able to get return. So they're going to be making sequels of their major franchises. So don't be surprised if you start seeing another Toy Story, more Incredibles.
I see some more Incredibles. I'm not gonna lie. Incredibles needs more, in my opinion.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if you start seeing that shit. Furthermore,
I'm just not a Disney guy, man. Only time I ever cared about D23 was for Kingdom Hearts. That's it.
okay. Which I don't even know if they still make those anymore.
They make it. 4 got announced like a year ago. They had gameplay and everything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
So they could announce a release date for 4. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. You should keep a lookout for that one.
3 was garbage though.
Talk about it on the podcast. And more animation.
I think we hit. Oh no, we didn't. Yeah.
We have a movie, a Netflix film coming in October, I think. It's supposed to be a Halloween flick called Wendell and Wild, featuring none other than Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key. Key and Peele. So it's going to be the first time that they've joined forces in a minute.
I'm watching that in day 1.
It's also going to be directed by the mind behind The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, James and the Giant Peach, pretty much any type of stop motion movie that you can think of. This guy has done it. The thing I'm most excited for is the fact that this movie is going to be PG-13. And it is featuring the main actress, the main character is a black girl. Dude, I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped,
man. And people are saying this is the black community's answer to Tim Burton. At least that's what I've heard. I've heard people say that.
Maybe.
What are your thoughts on that?
Perhaps, because you said that, and I didn't know what you were referring to.
This is that middle finger to Tim Burton.
Because I didn't even know anything about Tim Burton being a racist. Never heard anything about it.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Netflix, shit. I love Netflix, even though it can be garbage. These days, I feel like I've been finding more movies easier, but they're not good. But I've been finding.
I think this is going to be good, dude. It has a good cast too. I think Angela Bassett is in it. Let me take a look at the cast, because I remember there being a pretty nice cast of just
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, we have Jordan Peele, obviously, and Keegan-Michael Key. Tamara Smart, don't know who that is. Lyric Ross, don't know who that is. She's going to be playing the main actress, or the main character, I mean. Ving Rhames is going to be in it. The dude who plays, he's the dude with like that really deep voice. He's like a big dude. Did you ever see Pulp Fiction?
Mm-mm.
Oh, damn, because that's the only
parts of it. I've seen parts of it.
Marcellus Wallace, the black dude, the gang guy.
I heard the name before.
That's him. He plays him.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela Bassett's going to be in it. James Hong's going to be in it. That's pretty much all the people I know. But I'm really looking forward to that, bro. It's going to be a good movie. You be yawning in the mic, fam.
I'm sorry. I feel bad about that, man.
And then on top of that, we have the final season of Atlanta premiering this week.
Hope it's good. 3 was kind of off. Even though I had some good ideas there. The reparations episode I really liked.
I didn't watch it.
That episode was hilarious.
I don't know why I didn't go to it. I thought I was going to run to it. I don't know why I didn't.
And they addressed, what's his name? Liam Neeson addressed his racism in one of the episodes.
Nice.
He appeared in one
he did? Himself?
Yeah.
Oh.
He did himself.
What did he say?
It was the bar was called Cancel, and it was a whole bunch of cancel celebrities like in his secret bar. And one of the main characters, he had taken this crazy psychedelic and met this lady, and he had like been following her around the city, and he ended up at this bar. All I remember, it was some bullshit. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm still like, fuck you, dog, and I'm not supporting any of your movies. I don't give a fuck what you had to say.
He probably didn't say
He tried to
anything
like
substantial.
justify it. He tried to basically was just like, I was young and they took me out of context, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I could give a fuck.
He shouldn't.
I just think it's hilarious that they had him on to speak his part. They had him on Atlanta to speak his part about it.
Yeah,
further about it. I still am like, dude, kiss my ass. Every time I catch my mom watching Liam Neeson, I go get the remote and change the movie.
Damn.
And I don't play that.
Serious about it.
She loves Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I hope they'll go out with a bang. 3 was all right. First 2 were glorious. I think them not being in Atlanta made it weird. Like, they need to be in Atlanta for it to be Atlanta.
So this last one was in Europe? They were in Amsterdam?
Most of it was in Europe. They were in Amsterdam, yeah.
And then
I gotta finish it to know what happens, though, for 4.
And then finally, we have Rick and Morty season 6 premiere. I think it already came out, actually. I have not seen it yet. If it's good, we might give it a little review on it next episode. If you remember, the creator of the show was recently interviewed, and he said that he believes that show could possibly last forever.
No. Well, they can, because it's just like a Family Guy type anthology. Family Guy type, just like random shit happens show. But that show is garbage now. I'm sorry. Rick and Morty gets worse every season. And then at the end of last season, they finally gave us a canonical episode.
Every season?
Yes, it does. Yes. It's terrible. It's pretty bad now. Last season was awful, except for the last episode, which was like, we finally got what we wanted. And in the episode, the writers was like, are you happy now? They had Rick was like, you got my backstory. You got evil Morty. Are you happy now? Because they had been begging him for seasons to like, hey, bro, can we advance the serialization? Because most of the show is just like Family Guy. It's just like random shit with no consequences happen. And then every once in a while, you'll get a story episode that's like actual, like, Rick. It continues the story. Like, it affects the characters in a way that they really reference it later. Which is serialization. The authors talk about how much they hate serialization. They just want to make fun, wacky stories. They don't want to be held and beholden to a continuing serialized story. So they just gave us Evil Morty, finished his storyline. They just gave us, even though the way they did it, it could be crazy, because they did this thing where it's like the revelation was that there's an infinite multiverse, but the multiverse we've known for the first 5 seasons was a small segment of the multiverse where Rick is the smartest man. Well, Evil Morty escaped this like he was trapped there. All the portal guns lead to the same kind of segment of the multiverse. Well, Evil Morty breaks the curve. This collection of all these Rick universes scatters it all, and now it can literally be anything. That's why I feel like they're saying that, because now they did a serialized episode where now you could have episodes where like Rick and Morty go to a DBZ universe. They could have an episode where Rick and Morty just appear on our podcast, and there is no Rick and Morty in our universe that are real people. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They kind of did something like that now. So we'll see, but it's been pretty terrible the last couple of seasons. I just don't like Rick and Morty like that anymore.
It hasn't been anything that I watch. I watch it just for entertainment now. You know, it's kind of just, which I think that's what it's supposed to be, though. This is literally like adult comedy, animation comedy. That's what it's supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be anything
something
serious.
Vulgar to just throw on and just be like, oh, wow, that was crazy.
And just be amused.
Oh, damn.
And entertained. It's not supposed to be a good story. Like, we might have gotten a little misled. Because in the beginning, it seemed like it was supposed to be kind of deep. Kind of along the lines of like a BoJack Horseman.
Kind of had it like, yeah. Dude, BoJack is dope. BoJack is definitely serialized because it has a continuing story. Even though the first season is a little wacky, everything after that is just like all about BoJack's alcoholism and all about his friends dealing with his bullshit and his partying and his drug abuse and his narcissism. Like, they really go deep. That show depressed me when I watched it. Like, I was legitimately in a depression. It's so nihilistic and sad, like that show.
I thought that was what Rick and Morty was going to be, but they got far away from that. Okay.
It's still pretty nihilistic and kind of atheist, but, you know, that show. But it's a little wackier.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we're about to do is we'll see y'all later.
Take it easy.